Yeah.
I struggle when I see so many people on Facebook clearly using it and not even just copy and pasting, and or where you use it a lot yourself, you kind of see the exclamation marks, the code, and I don't know, is that acceptable, is that not acceptable? I really don't know, but for me it kind of gives me the ick. But then so that's why I'm fascinated to learn more. So I love the content out on social media where they say, like, give you formats, for instance, to kind of get it to work better.
Templates,
so that helps me a little bit as well. But I think it's I want to embrace that. I can see how it's gonna be amazing, but it's doing it with integrity and doing it the right way, I guess, for me.
Yes, absolutely. Well, hopefully this will help you. So Jason saying, only AI have used ChatGPT, help with some small claim legal, sporadic. Michelle, haphazard, not enough. Joe's using it for marketing. Izzy's using ChatGPT all the time. Don't pay for it. Seems expensive. Tried a few Canva, Substack image generators. Yeah, the imaging stuff isn't great at the moment, I don't think. Joe, don't like the idea of setting up an automation, then changing my mind about what the automation should do and forgetting about it, and it's whirring away in the background working against me. Okay. Till I use it quite a lot to help me with day-to-day stuff, use it to transcribe YouTube. Yeah, brilliant. Another way I use ChatGPT is to tell me what my gym routine is for the day and logs my workouts. Brilliant. Kelly used ChatGPT a lot at the moment when I don't know how to start something healthy. Yeah, perfect. Brilliant. I use ChatGPT a lot for that. I think that there's a huge research piece that people aren't really using it for. So kind of like Google on steroids, particularly with the image upload. Being able to just take a screenshot of something and ask it to work out what's going on when you're stuck on something is brilliant. But then there's the kind of generative bit where, it's writing copy for you. So today I am going to show you, is anyone here using their own custom GPT? No, good. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to build your own custom GPT. I'm going to show you, basically the idea of today is to show you 3 things that I think can really help your business and that I didn't think people were using. So we're going to build a custom GPT. I'm going to show you Notebook LM. If anyone's using that, I'm going to show you a couple of things with that I think will really help. And I'm going to do a walkthrough of Teamy as well, because a few people have asked for that. So I'll just spend a few minutes on that at the end as well. But let's get stuck into it. So as you know, I think screen share on Butter is painful. So I'm going to have to split my screen and do it this way. Okay, can you see that? Yeah. Fab. Okay, so I am in ChatGPT now, and you can use this. I need to clarify this. So you can access the GPTs on the free plan. I just need to find out if you can create your own. I think you might need the paid plan to create your own, but I'll confirm that for you. So essentially, the way you need to think about this is that ChatGPT, if you're just using ChatGPT, it's basically like a huge brain, a robot that knows everything about everything. And when you're looking at creating a GPT, you're creating a robot that knows everything about something, like absolutely everything about something, and specifically that something in the way that you want to know it. So it's essentially a way for you to, I think that the use case for ADHD business owners is to create a second brain for ourselves, essentially. So when it comes to your marketing or your admin or whatever it might be, you have a GPT that is trained in how you think, talk, work, that can do that work for you. And there's a couple of things like Izzy creating your course, or anyone who's creating a course or a program, creating a GPT around that is built from the existing assets that you have is such a shortcut to creating more content. So I'm just going to show you how they work. So GPTs are, as I've already explained, like these really specific robots, specific parts of ChatGPT that are built to do really, really particular things. So you can look through the custom GPTs that are already built here. So you have all these different categories across the top. So there's like writing, productivity, research and analysis. I recommend you spend some time looking in here if you haven't already. They're kind of hit and miss. This Canva one's always recommended, but unless it's my prompting, I just think it's rubbish. But some of the writing ones are good. Some of the lifestyle ones are good, really worth looking through. But if you want to create your own, which is what we're looking at today, we go into, so the way I got into here, if you just go into your normal ChatGPT and then come down to explore GPTs on the left-hand side. I'm going to be saying GPT a lot. I'm sorry. Take a shot every time I say GPT. And then come to the top right in the create button here. So you've got two options when you come onto this, two ways that you can create it. You can either create it in this kind of conversation panel, or you can come to the configure panel and do it manually. I'm going to start in create. I recommend you start in create and then go into configure. So give me an example of something that someone is working on and we can use a real life test case. Just shout out on mute, like a course or I can come up with an example if no one's working on anything.
I'm working on a branding project, if that's helpful at all.
Okay, so yeah, let's take, is it a specific client or is it just a test?
Yeah, it's a t-shirt company.
Okay, perfect. So what would you like to make? So we're going to create a marketing manager or create a branding manager for a t-shirt company. So it's just going to update it. So it helps you build it as you go along. And people use this like, people would either have one GPT that they train as their kind of tone of voice and their way of thinking that they can just use for general business stuff, or they might have several GPTs, one that they set up for their marketing, one that they set up for like finance and forecasting, so you can split it out that way. So I've set up this GPT with a focus on t-shirt branding strategy, creative marketing, campaign ideas. Let's choose a name. How about the t-shirt brand builder? As a branding specialist, Jace, what do you think about that name?
Yeah.
Call it. What do you want to call it?
Oh God, now I'm on the spot.
Okay, because you won't want to say the brand, will you? Let's just put test t-shirt.
Test threads.
Test what?
Test threads.
Test threads. There we go. I knew you'd come up with something. Great choice. Next, I'll create a profile picture for test threads that reflects strong creative brand focus. Give me a moment. What's the betting that it's not actually going to give us something that is a strong creative branding focus? Right, let's tell it what we want. What do you want? What do you want it to look like? The profile picture. Should we just make it look like a cool? Create a cool brand manager avatar. Can anyone else not type when people are watching them? What is that? Okay, so it's going to generate your profile picture. And this is, so, you know, where people say, oh, once ChatGPT gets to know you, it's like so accurate. But when you're just using ChatGPT, every time you switch to a new thread, it's essentially starting again. So I don't know if any of you have heard people say that, but you're kind of using it and you're like, well, it's still not really getting me. This is how we educate it. This is how we train it to get us and understand us. There we go. Cool. Cool branding manager. There we go. So that is kind of it set up. The only other thing I would recommend from here is that we start adding in a bit of our kind of broader background information. So I think here we need to say, what do you want this to do, Jace? Do you want it to you want it to be able to support with the strategy in terms of campaigns? And so let's give it so our tone of voice is, oh my god, is what's the tone of voice?
The demographic is aimed at Gen Z, and the tone of voice, I suppose, would be like quite carefree, centered around joy, and like building community, I suppose.
Okay, community centric. And what was the first thing you said? Demographic.
The demographic is Gen Z.
Target audience.
And young millennials.
And young. Okay, so we can add that in, and that ideally you'd want a bit more information, like add in as much as you can, but I will show you where the real magic happens. So it's just going to update that for us. So what you're looking at here is, this is essentially what you're used to using with ChatGPT, but we're building the background for it. So this is where we configure it. This is where we test it. So this then becomes essentially the ChatGPT experience that you're used to using, but it's trained as you. So it's trained in the tone of voice that you've given it with this additional information. So this is where, if you imagine if you had 3, 4, 5 different GPTs that you're using, you can come in here, you can change the name, change any of this information if you want to. But down here, you have the option to upload knowledge. So in here, you could upload, if you were creating this for your business, which I really, really recommend you do, I would be uploading almost everything you have, you know, old kind of, old like PDF assets, like lead magnets that you've created, copy and paste your whole about section off your website and upload that. You could even do that here. So I know this isn't me, but we could put use this website for tone of voice reference. So it's going to scan the website and it'll kind of get some information about your tone of voice. But then in the configure tab here, just upload everything you can into here. Every document you have, anything that's hanging around that's going to give it more information, because the more you give it, the more accurate it's going to be. So once you've created this, then you've got your preview here. So you can say, I want to create a launch campaign. Suggest an exciting activation that will appeal to my audience. And, you know, it hasn't got a ton of information at the moment, but if we were to upload like all the documents you have, all the research you've done on them, Jace, all the kind of questionnaires that they've filled out for you. So in your case, and anyone else who has who's working with clients in a, you know, creative kind of service capacity, you could almost have one of these for each client. And a lot of agencies do. They will have, like, ad agencies will have one of these for each client. And then whenever they're creating content for them, it's just about going to that GPT. So look, it's come up with some you know, ideas which would get even better over time. Does this make sense to everyone? Just pop in the chat if you've got any questions specifically about GPTs. So once you've done this and you're happy with this, happy in terms of like creating it, we're just going to click create in the top right. So now we have the option to who we're going to share it with. So you can just keep it to yourself. You can share it with anyone that you give the link to. So if it's something that you want to share with the team or with the client themselves, or you can add it to the GPT store. So some really good use cases for this could be if you are creating a program. So I don't think Mel's here, but we were talking about this. Mel's created this community for like midlife women, this kind of health and well-being community. And we were saying about building a GPT where people could go in and get meal plans that are specifically tailored for them and that kind of thing. So there is a good use case for sharing it with people. But let's just say this one's just for us, just because it's a sample one. And if you really go to town and want to share it with the world, then you can add it to the GPT store. Make sense? Let me see if we've got any questions. I'm just switching between these two. No questions about GPT at all. Are we all good? We're on it. Understand how to use it.
Feels like a cheat code.
Yeah, it is a cheat code. It really is. Like, I'm not suggesting that, you know, what if we've done that in kind of 10, 15 minutes. That is it takes time to get it to the point where it's kind of replicating you, but it really can like feed it your website, the documents that you have, and it really will start to sound like you. And every conversation that you have with it is training it further and further. So yeah, I would really recommend you give that a go. Create a GPT. The next one I want to show you is Notebook LM. Has anyone used this? I know I asked earlier, but I don't think anyone has.
I've used it briefly.
Okay.
It's kind of similar to this, but I've not used this yet. So, but you can upload. I mean, in terms of it's a data bank, you can upload loads of stuff to it, right? And then it'll just create content and stuff for you, which is crazy. Yeah. So
I love ChatGPT for the kind of the generative stuff. So asking it questions and it telling you whether that's research or actually producing content. Notebook LM is a Google product and it is brilliant for exactly as Tilesh said. So you give it data, you give it a document, an article. And this is why I love it for ADHD business owners or like students. Oh my God, if this was available when you were at school or uni, it would just have made our lives so easy. So it's literally just Google Notebook LM. It's notebooklm.google.com. And we're going to create our first notebook. So you have a choice here of, you can either get a doc from your Google Drive, use a link. So you could summarize like a full website, a YouTube video, or you can copy and paste the text in there, or you can upload a document. So
Amanda, we're still on the ChatGPT screen at the minute.
Oh, thank you.
That's okay.
Oh my goodness, sorry. Thanks for I don't know what, right, I'm just going to go back so you can see what I did. I don't know why Butter's screen share is such a poor experience, but everything else I enjoy. Okay, so this is the homepage of Notebook LM. So we're just going to create our first notebook. So this is the screen I was just talking you through. So you can either it's connected, it's a Google product. So you can either go to Google Docs, Google Slides, you can use a link for a website or a YouTube video, or you can copy and paste text into it, or you can upload a document. So if you've got a Word document or Google Doc or something, you can upload it there. Also audio you can upload. So this is really, really good for just summarizing anything that we need to understand the basics of it, but we don't necessarily have the time, energy or focus to actually, go through the whole thing. So I'm just going to go in and use the draft for my book, which is about, I think there's about 5 chapters in here so far. So you can see what it does here. So basically you can see how quickly that worked. So there's a summary of the actual book there, just in one paragraph. Then we have the option here. I'm just going to start generating this because I want to show you this feature. But we have the option here of creating an FAQ, which will pop up. So everything that we're doing here is creating a notebook. So we're now going to have a notebook called the Brain First Book that everything we generate lives within. So we can come back to it and we can find the summary, we can find the notes, the FAQs. Let's have a look at a briefing doc. So we've got our FAQs there, this briefing doc. Anything that we create in here is in this notebook. So let's call this our Brain First notebook. So you can imagine, again, if you've created a course, or if you've created, let's say we're creating a course and one of the course videos is half an hour long, for example, you could upload that video into here, get a summary, get FAQs, what are the other options? A study guide, get a timeline, any of these things, and use that in your course. So you could use that summary to make it extra accessible for people who, don't necessarily want to sit through a half an hour video, but want that information. So I really, really love this. I don't see that many people talking about Notebook 11. I'm not really sure why, because I just think it's absolutely incredible. I'm going to show you this audio feature, which is just absolutely mind-blowing. What's Amber saying? Could I use this to upload a video of a previous course that I did, convert it into text to create an ebook? Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you could use ChatGPT to do that as well, but this is going to give you a summary in these kind of specific formats. So I really like it. I really like the speed that it works at. I'm saying this audio feature does take a while, but you'll see why. It's absolutely brilliant. Would I be able to put a transcript in from a client kickoff call to create a project timeline? I would use ChatGPT for that, I think. You could try it in here. I don't know if that's what timeline means. I haven't used this timeline feature. I would personally use ChatGPT, I think, for that. If it was a video, maybe if it was like, if you had a Zoom and you'd recorded it, maybe I would put it in here. Yeah, I would definitely give that a go.
A great way that I've used this is to upload newsletters, email newsletters from your favorite people.
Oh yeah.
And then to create content like that, it's genius. It's genius. Yeah.
That's a really good point for GPTs as well. It's fair game, isn't it? But I know a lot of people will create a GPT by using their favorite creators' content, newsletters, long form kind of LinkedIn posts. So maybe they would create a GPT that was to create their own LinkedIn posts, and they would upload the documents they're uploading would be their favorite LinkedIn creators' posts, which, is is fair game, I think, but not everyone, you know, you might not be comfortable with this. So this is my favorite feature, which is this audio overview. And let me play this. Let me know if you can hear this, actually. I hope you can.
Ever get that feeling like
can you hear it?
All the, you know, the traditional business advice out there is just not really working for you? Like maybe your brain is kind of playing by a different set of rules?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, you sent over some really interesting stuff from this book, Brain First, by Amanda Perry.
Yeah.
And it seems like she's really onto something with this whole ADHD entrepreneur connection.
Yeah, it's really fascinating stuff. You know, I think a lot of people kind of have this sense that maybe entrepreneurship isn't really a choice for some folks.
Right.
But it's almost like a natural inclination based on how their brains work. And Perry really dives into that in this book.
Yeah, and her book isn't just about, you know, if you happen to have ADHD, this is how you manage it as an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's so good. It's so creepy though at the same time, right?
It is creepy. It is really creepy.
It's so good. It's just like, wow, that's crazy.
But imagine, like, for us, you know, you depending on how you learn, and going back to the idea, the thought around courses as well, because you can just download this and use it. Like for a course, being able to offer this to your students, to say there's a video here if you like using video, there's a transcript here if you like using transcripts, there's a podcast here if you want to learn this way. Like, I just think this is absolutely incredible. Apart from the ego boost to hear two people discussing my book that's not even out yet on a podcast, but it's just brilliant. And even for us to be able to, if you're the sort of person that really does take in information, you know, if you're like a verbal processor and you like hearing information back to you, to take a huge article or a document or something that you need to digest in some way and run it through here really could be the key to being able to process a lot more information, you know. Who can think of a use case for this that they would want to use it for?
Amanda, could I ask a question?
Sure.
So if I had a web template, could this basically help me create content around that?
Around a web template?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Explain a bit more. What do you mean?
So, like, for instance, because you put your book in there.
Yeah.
And it's like come up with the kind of audio overview and then the FAQs and everything. I don't know how I would do it with a web template, but I was just thinking that would be really useful as like snippets to share with people as to why the template would be good for them, etc.
But that's more like sales, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess so.
There's a couple of things come to mind. So if you're talking about when you sell it, to show people how to use it, there's a really good AI platform called, well, there's one called Scribe and one called Guide okay. With two Ds. And they basically record you. So it could be that you're showing them how to edit it and you're going through editing it, how you would change the colors, how you'd update the font, how you move spacing, animation, all that kind of thing. And Scribe or Guide would AI that process for you. So they would turn that process into a video that you could then package along with selling the template.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for.
I would use that. I would use them. Yeah. This is more the information you're giving me, I'm going to give back to you, but in a more succinct way. Whereas we're looking for, Scribe or Guide will do that for you. They're brilliant.
Cracking. Thank you.
No worries. Emma, I don't know why ChatGPT is speaking to you in Welsh, but make sure you always put British English in there. Speak to me in British English, which is something I'd recommend putting into your GPT as well. Has anyone got any questions about this at all? Michelle, honestly, for students, why would you ever need to learn anything? You just don't need to learn anything anymore, do you? Maybe a bit of like basic maths or something, but yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Kelly, mind blowing indeed, still processing, but I think it could be really handy to be able to offer different forms of my content. Yes, I agree. Different forms of content. Like to record a course for ages if I had the courage. How can I use this after recording the session? It would be Notebook LM is free. That is one of the best bits about it. It's absolutely free because it's Google and you're just giving them loads of your data.
Okay, so that's the catch. But if you're okay with that, that's amazing.
I mean, but yeah, it's the same, isn't it? They're all the same. Kelly, sorry, I'd like to record a course if I had the courage. How can I use this after recording the session? It will be 1 to 1.5 hours. So I would, if you've got a video recording of a session, I would upload the video to this and get the FAQs, get the table of contents, get a briefing doc, and possibly get the podcast overview of it. And then you can copy and paste, use them. You can download this podcast here. So, and I would use those for additional accessibility in your course. I mean, really, when you think about it, when you think about the things that hold us up and we really struggle with, let's take, I know I keep going back to courses, but there is really such a good use case for this with courses. You know, when we think about the courses, it's, I have to, think about the contents and then create the videos and then do all the subtitles and editing and all of that kind of thing. You can kind of create the framework with ChatGPT. If you create a custom GPT, it's going to get it pretty much nailed on for you the first time. Use Notebook LM, like record it from that framework, record the content, use Notebook LM to summarize it, create the podcast of it, create your study guide, your FAQs. You're pretty much there. It's you've got a pretty accessible course. Obviously you need all the other stuff, your landing page and all that kind of thing, but maybe that's where Timi comes in. Does anyone have any other questions before we move on from Notebook? No? Is everyone completely mind blown? Because I hadn't used the audio bit before today, and I was just completely blown away by it. I'd seen people using it, but I hadn't actually used the audio section. So yeah.
Amanda, do you know what AI terminals are?
What AI? What, sorry?
AI terminals.
As in.
So basically, I helped a friend set up the other day. He's a professional cryptocurrency trader, and he wanted to create content for his Twitter account, but he didn't want to be he didn't want to obviously constantly be posting on Twitter, right? Yeah. So we actually set up a terminal for him where AI basically, you set the variables, like we want to talk about meme trading, psychology, like the money markets, all this kind of stuff, human factors, whatever, and then it posts like 7-8 times an hour automatically.
Oh my god!
On Twitter, and he's already built following 1,000 people in a week. It's crazy.
Yeah, I bet. What is that? Is that like a Zapier thing, or so?
No, it's I can't remember the name of the website we used. I think it's Made.com, something like that.
Oh, Make. Yeah. So it's like it's just a chat, like was it a custom GPT?
Kind of, yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's just like the back end of it, right?
Yeah.
Just filter it, like set 3 variables, and then just it not requires a bit of programming language, but for the average person, it's even watching a YouTube video, learning it is difficult. But yeah, it's doable. It just takes time.
Make.com
watching the results is just like, wow, that's crazy.
No.
Yeah.
And I think this is where, I don't know, I think this is where
it's a way for ADHDers to print money, basically, right? Like, it couldn't actually, to me personally, there couldn't be a better time to be an ADHD person. It's like we actually have so many things in our favor if we can
use them.
If we can get out of also, I went through this process a few months ago, like get out of the victim state where when you first get diagnosed as an adult, like you're like, oh wow, this is crap. But if you can get out of that, but then reading some of your posts, your AI posts on your Instagram just makes me laugh. Like some of the comments where you're just like, okay, I don't want to be like one of these people.
I think there's definitely a journey we go through, and I think everyone's different, aren't they? So
exactly.
It's I think, like, I couldn't think of anything worse than just having an AI bot that was just churning out my content. But I can also see how it's useful for someone who's doing something like crypto trading to keep that presence, build an audience that is essentially their funnel. So, like, I'm really, this is a massive conversation, but I am fascinated by the idea of AI writing the budget yesterday, and having all the data from the whole, like, from our current economy, the deficit, everything that they're talking about, and just this emotionless thing without any prejudices or biases, creating the budget that is in the interest of the goals of the country and the economy and all of that kind of thing. So I think there's huge use cases for it, and I think the next 5 years is going to be really interesting. I think that the average person and people on this call everyone's going to use it differently, aren't they? And I think there's some brilliant ways people are using it, and there's some terrible ways people are using it, like the person that set up a Telegram and cloned my voice and conned someone out of $5,000, for some crypto scam. But that's the same with anything, isn't it?
Yeah, I think like you said, is if you can you add the human element to it, be authentic, but then get it to do things that you don't have the time for, because you're focusing on the bigger things. Exactly. Then that just makes total sense, right? Because it is like you're doing so much heavy lifting with it, and it's just like, well, okay, you don't just use it for indiscretionally, but you just use it to do the big things, and then you can add your own twist to it. Adding your own twist is the key part to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I love the custom GPT stuff, because putting that kind of legwork in the beginning, you're not just churning out crap. Essentially, you're replicating your brain, leveraging the work that you've already created to create more work. So yeah, I think it is incredible. I love it. So everyone knows ChatGPT, don't they? ChatGPT.com. NotebookLM is notebooklm.google.com, and it will link to your Google account. Now I am going to just do a run through of Teamy, because people have asked who has signed up. Has everyone signed up? There's a code in the we've got a 7-day trial, but there's a code in the community as well to give you the first month for half price. So I would just show you, who was it asking? Amber Rose, was it you asking? Were you one of the people asking about the walkthrough? I can't remember who it was. I'll show you anyway. So Teamy is essentially a product that I have developed. It works on ChatGPT, so it's in the OpenAI API, so it has like the latest AI. It works with the latest AI. The reason that we created this was because so many ADHD people, like clients, people in the community, people I speak to, struggle with growing their business because we either can't find the right people to work with us, and even if we do, it's that like communication piece is really difficult. That bit where we have to delegate the work or follow up on the work, all of that is really, really tough. So the aim was to create like an AI kind of VA in the beginning, and the idea ran away with us. What we have today, the product that we've launched, is a task library. So we have a library of over 100 tasks here, and there's everything from write a press release, write a sales email, create a sales page, generate reels ideas, create your email sequences, plan a trip. There's some like personal stuff in there, calculate your profit margin, write copy for paid ads, right through to, there's like 120 in here, right through to like some cold outreach stuff and people management. And it's split across your team. So you've got your marketing manager, personal assistant, business coach, sales manager, operations assistant, copywriter, social media manager, creative director, intern, and finance manager. So you can filter the tasks this way if you would rather do that. The way I prefer to filter them is by using your favorites or your recent or history. So using that up there. You can also search here for a task. So if you're looking to do something specific, if you just pop, if you want to write an email, for example, then pop email in and you can choose which one you want. I am going to show you how to do, let's go back to all, let's have a look at the offer builder. I like that one. Let's have a look at the offer builder. So you're going to select your task. And the idea with this is that it takes out that overwhelm of, I need to create like the perfect prompt to be able to get the results that I need. You know, there's all this conflicting information about don't forget to put this in and don't forget to tell it this. So all of the prompts are pre-built. All you're having to do is put your information in. So let's put in here, let's say we're doing a course on ADHD business course, let's say, and the price is £500, and the promise is help you to do business your own way. 8-week course, one-to-one coaching and group coaching. So you're just adding your own information in here. When you sign up to Teamy, it takes you through a whole onboarding process where you fill out your own brand information. So every time you're doing this, it's taking the brand information you've already given it, plus the prompts in the background, plus this context that you're giving it for each task that you're creating. So we're going to name the document ADHD course. We're going to generate. And then it just takes a few moments because it sends it over to OpenAI and then brings it back again. And then it is going to give us here we go. So outline of a business course. So this is a really good one for if you've got an idea of a program, but you're not quite sure how to format it, or you're not really sure how to like break it down. This is essentially going to do it for you. So ADHD business course outline, 6 weeks, building your business your way, course designed to empower ADHD business owners by providing them with the tools, strategies, and support needed. So it gives you some really nice copy to use. And then it's just going to break it down into like module 1, 2, 3, 4, with each week and what you cover in each week. And then additional resources. So what else can you add into the group? And then conclusion, graduation, and next steps. So celebrating achievements and highlights, creating personalized action plan for post-course success. So it just gives you, it just kind of fleshes the idea out a little bit. Once you've generated it, and this is the new bit in Teamy, if anyone used the first version, this is a completely different experience. So you can either choose to start again if you think this isn't quite what I was thinking. So you could start again and change your inputs here, or you can come in here and say, I like this bit, but I need, like, give me some more information around this. So expand on each area. So you can just ask it to give you a bit more information about each of these points here, and you can ask it to do that across the whole document. So it's just generating that for us. There we go, and it's given us the additional information there. So I'm just going to replace that with that. And we've got a load, so we've got a load more information there. And this information is essentially what will end up being our sales copy, our kind of marketing copy, content for the course. There's another way that we can edit it, which is just to toggle on manual edit mode. And then we could come in here and we can just say, you know, I don't really like this title, so I'm going to have this heading as, you know, what is your superpower? Oh dear, what's happened there? What is your superpower? So we can come in and edit it as a document. So you can, this will essentially become the document that you're going to work off. We can choose to copy and paste it, or we can save and exit. So I'm going to save it now and just show you where it saves it to. So the idea with Teamy is that you're building your like business in a box. You have your favorite section where all of your favorite tasks are, that you know how to use them and what to do with them and what output they produce. And then in your Teamy Drive here, you have all of the information, that all of the work that you've previously produced that you can just come in at any time and grab. So you're building a library of assets as well. Has anyone got any questions about that at all?
Can you hear me? I don't know where I am. I can't see.
Yeah, I can hear
you. So the first one that you showed us with ChatGPT and building your own GPT.
Yeah.
Is that and this one and the same effectively? So if you had Teamy, you wouldn't also need to do that because this is also ChatGPT. Or
so they do different things. Like ChatGPT is like a blank canvas. So if you know what you want to put on that canvas, you know, if you know what you want to ask it and what you want to do, ChatGPT is a really good option. If you don't know what you want to do, and if you want to build out a dashboard of your own tasks and your own experience within Teamy, then Teamy is a really good option. Teamy is essentially for people who not even who need that guidance, who just want to build their business within one platform, I would say. So ChatGPT is brilliant for the broader stuff. I think for like, you know, I'm stuck on this, how do I do this? Or creating a meal plan, or asking it like Google kind of questions. Okay. ChatGPT, brilliant. I would say Teamy is perfect for anyone who just wants that little bit more guidance on how they're using it, I would say.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I like the prompts being there, and you know, because sometimes with ChatGPT, with it being that blank slate, I come up blank and I'm just like, what next? Or I'll use it for something and I'm like, oh my God, ChatGPT is the best thing ever. I'm going to use this every day in my business. And then I don't use it again for 2 weeks because I don't have what to say to it.
And that's why I would recommend building a custom GPT, because you can then kind of replicate how you think and talk and all of that kind of thing. But if that is even too, it's not even too advanced, but too much kind of like too much brain power to even build that out, Teamy is a really good option, because it literally gives you, it's there, it's all there in a box for you.
Okay, amazing, thank you.
No worries.
Amanda, can I also add, this might be your user experience as well, but it's been mine. But for example, you know, I said that I used it to do my gym routine and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So basically, I'd get the ChatGPT to log like my routine, and then I'd do the reps and the routine, etc., the exercises, and then I'd get it to create a table at the end of the workout, right? So break it down exactly into a table, exactly what I've done. But sometimes there'd be an error in it, so I would have to go back to it and say, look, that's not right. There's an error in it. It'd be like, oh yeah, sure. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me do it again. So you have to be careful that it's not 100% accurate and it's going to give you wrong information. So a lot of I did this in the beginning. It's like you assume everything is correct, but it's not, because it's still right.
You do have to be really careful with it. I think, I mean, that's kind of AI in general. We've got a couple of things on here. So we've got write your website T's and C's and like privacy policy and stuff, and you know, that stuff you do have to be really careful with. But what this is giving you is, if you don't know what you need to do, you're literally gonna go through here and think, oh yeah, I could really do with, you know, generating some content, or I could do with optimizing my social bio, actually, rather than going to ChatGPT and it just being kind of a blank screen. And, you know, this is actually giving you the prompt to do the work. So not only are you getting through your task list, it's also reminding you of like all of these other things that you could be doing. So yeah, like write a caption, write a product listing, create a meal plan, build your meeting agenda, send a follow-up message. Things like ADHD stuff, like say no to a request, like just that stuff that we put off for ages because we think, oh, I don't want to be rude and, you know, I want to get it right. So yeah, we really kind of built it with ADHD brains in mind. So if you want to trial it, if you go to teamy.ai, you can get the 7-day trial. If you use BFC Teamy at the checkout, then you get your first month for half price. So yeah, if you do want to give it a go, then jump in now, and let me know if you have any questions at all. What happens when I answer the questions or prompts in a different language? Do you mean in Teamy, Kelly, or in others? Can I translate it afterwards? So Teamy only currently works in English. We don't have translation on it at the moment. ChatGPT has translation, so you could use that. Oh, Teamy, yeah, you wouldn't be able to answer it in Dutch. It wouldn't know what you meant, but you could, yeah, you can answer it in English if that helps. Yeah, sorry, we are looking at translation. We just don't have it on. We don't have it on there at the moment for all sorts of reasons. It just added a whole operational nightmare for us. But it will be coming. We are looking into it. Does anyone else have any questions about anything at all? Anything to do with AI? Anyone have, like, has anything come up through that you think, oh my God, I'm gonna go and like use that, or I can see how I'd use that for my business, or any revelations or questions at all? Nothing.
I think there's so many use cases. We just got to play around with it, right? It takes time.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you've got ADHD, you can be so hyper focused on it that you can just waste hours, right?
Yeah.
All these business ideas you can come up with and help. Like, it'd be probably one of the easiest ways to come up with a service-based business using AI, because it's just done for you, right? Yeah.
There's so many copywriters, and there's people out there creating whole businesses around it that are just using it for. I've a really good friend of mine has a marketing agency, and he's been able to streamline his whole process just by using ChatGPT. Like, it produces his strategies, his audits, all his client reporting, everything that just used to take him hours and hours. which means that he's been able to reduce the cost so much more for his clients. So I think some people would do that and then not reduce the cost. You know, I think but he's kind of been able to do it and really streamline that and offer a much better value service. So yeah, I think I guess my main motivation for doing this is just to take the barrier away from people, or the fear away, because I think there is that real tension at the moment of creatives who can see it on the horizon, are worried that it's going to impact their job, their industry, their friends, the people that they work with. And so there's a reluctance to use it, but there's just so many ways that it can help us that isn't about do everything for me. It's just about leveraging it to you know, make our lives easier. Yeah. Michelle, are you going to be jumping in?
Sorry, my computer's on go slow. Yeah, I need to. I can see so many opportunities for it. I think I've messed around with it and like looked at it and gone, yeah, I don't like that response, or I hate that tone, where I've not done the kind of refine, where I go to speak like me. But I love the idea of setting up my own, in like, you know, putting all my website copy in there and stuff and getting it to speak like me. And I also shouldn't admit it out loud, but I love the idea of those people I admire content. You know what I'm like about content, that I admire content wise, to just jump loads in and go, right, make me some posts, not copying any one, but a load of inspiration.
Exactly. Yeah, like this is my like gold standard for LinkedIn posts. Here's everything from everyone. Write me a post.
Write me 10 posts for LinkedIn. Yeah. I love that idea.
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, the podcast stuff for Harry is just like,
I brought him down to watch it. He's gone off now. He's going, is this the last one, Mum? And he's run off because he's sat in his bloody box shorts, which I didn't want to subject any of you lot to. Teenagers in half term, but he was like, oh my God, Mum, oh my God, at Google LM, because I messaged him and said, have you used Google LM? He was like, no. It's quite good when I can get something new over him, because it doesn't happen.
Yeah, he can teach you some new like slang or something, and he
can teach me a new language.
Yeah, Izzy, I get it. I'm feeling a bit dazed by the possibility. Brain's whirring, but not here. He can't articulate her thoughts. Maybe you could use it to do that for me. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, as you were going through it, I could see, I could use it to, and then I'm like, I don't know what to do first.
Yeah, I think for you, you know, going through this course creation process for you, I think there's so many ways you could use Notebook, especially just to summarize. I think it's that, for me, it's that accessibility piece, isn't it? Because we want to make stuff accessible, but by the time we've recorded the content, then the thought of, oh, I'll now put it into a podcast and put it into this and that is time. So I think there's a really good way of using it for that. Definitely. Who else is going to run off and jump in and try them? Yeah, brilliant. I think it would be good. Let's get a thread going in the community, and then as people try it and like share best practices and share what you're doing with it. And I really do think that it's such a huge opportunity for us to make our lives easier, that I think I'll start a thread and let's share best practices. Fab. Does anyone have any other questions, or do you want to go and enjoy your afternoon or get into AI?
Just a really quick one. I know we didn't cover them, but I was just having a look at Scribe and Guide, which are mad. Do you have a preference? Have you used either of them?
I've used both of them, and I prefer them for different things. I prefer Scribe for processes, and I prefer Guide for the walkthrough videos. So we were going to use Guide for Teamy for the walkthrough of like this is how you use it. We decided not to in the end, just because it's, you know, not a personal voice. But you can get free trials on both of them. I would test them both out, see what you prefer. There's not a huge amount of difference between them. So yeah, it's down to personal preference really. I just found Scribe a little bit more kind of clunky than Guide. I think Guide's newer, I think. But yeah, test them out and see what they think. And anyone else who regularly creates processes or has to send information to clients or anything like that, Scribe and Guide are brilliant for that kind of thing. Like, it records what you're doing on your computer and then it puts it into a process, or Guide will put it into a video where it narrates what you're doing and when you're doing it and where you're doing it, like what website you're doing it on. Fab.
Question. So where do you post these videos up? Because I swear I can't find them, but it might just be me.
They're in the library section in Heartbeat. So if you go into library,
in the Heartbeat section. Okay, yeah, I went to library, but I just couldn't find it. I was like, why can't I find
if you go into library, all the workshops are there, and then like the hot seats are all in one section, but the workshops are all individual ones. You should be able to see them in there. Got it?
Under what did you say? Sorry.
Library.
Yeah.
Got it? If you just open library, you should be able to see them in there.
I've only got so I've only got the ones that I keep on seeing the same ones, and that's the only options I've got. So in total right now I've got there's 10 tiles in there that I could click on. Should there be more? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, that's right. So you've got So you've got from May. So you've got May was the Moneymaker Masterclass. June was content planning. July, ADHD way to 100K. August, automations. September was about the workshops. And then October.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, lovely to see everyone. Thanks for coming along. I hope that I haven't confused you too much, and I hope that you can go off and use it. I'm going to create a thread. Do like, as you use it, come back and share what you've found to work for you, and let's share best practices on it. Brilliant.
Cool. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Halloween to anyone.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
See you later. Take care. Bye bye.